guys, my name is Musaddin Sayyed, you can call me Musad. Speaking about me in my career, I'm having a small experience of something around 7 years, in which I've been involved into two different companies, and I was having the experience on different platforms. Like I've been working on Linux, I've been working for Linux, I've been working for VMware, one of my key skills in whatever I'm doing in this past 7 years. In this past 7 years, I've been, been into different projects which was domestically have been performed, and the one which have been performed internationally for the same cause. We've been to Dubai, Libya, Afghanistan. There were 3-4 countries which I have visited till now in my career working on these projects. And speaking about training career, I've been dealing with the trainings for more than 4 years. And in this 4 years, I've been taking something around 200 batches, 200 plus batches I've been taking, and still it is counting on. So that's small introduction of mine of what I've been doing and how the things are going around. Let's now come back to the topic what we are here for, to know about VMware. So speaking about VMware, let's try to talk about something, what is this VMware, and how VMware is related with us, and how we are trying to work with that. So let's go in this way, guys. Assume that let's talk traditionally. What is this virtualization, and why do we have to go for virtualization in terms of VMware, and what is this VMware actually? So speaking about virtualization, guys, assume that we are having only one particular machine, and this particular machine we are going to use for our application or our quality or for testing or for any kind of application which is very important for my organization. So assume that in the same way I have 3, 4 or more than that application that has to be run on each machine, then I require minimum 4 physical machines that would be accommodating my different applications or databases or any other thing that has been related in my machine, in my organization. So probably what happens over here is, if I go for a traditional way, like using one physical machine for one application or one database or one other production equipment, then if I have 4 kind of important applications, then I may be requiring 4 physical machines to be there. So the things to observe over here is, do we really utilize the entire hardware what we have purchased? Are we going to completely utilize the memory what we have purchased, or what is the CPU that is there in my machine? Assume that we are having a box which we have purchased, maybe an IBM server or Dell server or HP server, whatever it might be. And in that, I'm having a bit of RAM, for example 8 GB. I'm having a CPU, maybe dual core or quad core, like that. I'm having 2 CPUs which is connected to my machine, and I'm having a hard drive of almost 1 terabyte, something like that. So the question arises over here, the application I'm putting on the top of it, does it really needs this big of infrastructure to purchase? So at the time of purchasing the hardware, we don't really see that how much it is going to consume. We just purchase the hardware, and once the hardware is available, we can technically find out that the resources what we are having is not fully utilized. Maybe my application is only taking 2 GB of RAM, is only taking 1 CPU, and taking 200 or 300 GB of the disk inside it. So probably the resources what I have is not fully utilized. It is not being completely utilized. So I'm actually wasting the resources whatever I have. So in this scenario, going with one-on-one concept does not make sense to me, because I am losing out my resources and I'm keeping it in my machine running unnecessarily. So in the other way, if I put a virtualization technique on this existing server, when in one machine I can have many machines which would be perfectly utilizing the hardware, perfectly utilize the CPU and the RAM, what is being connected to my machine. One thing. Secondly, assume that I have 3 to 4 machines in my environment which is being used for different applications, databases, or whatever is the need of your organization. So here, to work with it, I require each one to have an Ethernet adapter, and each Ethernet adapter would be connected to maybe a switch to 1, 2, 3, and 4. You cannot depend on one Ethernet adapter and one cable. So in this scenario, maybe I would go for 2 ports. Now each port I would be connecting to multiple switch for redundancy. The second one would be connecting here, something like this. So in this scenario, if you just check it out, that to maintain 4 machines, I require 2 ports on each VM. That means again the cost is involved, and the networking cables that have been used in that particular scenario is again increasing the cost of my infrastructure. I require multiple cables to be there. I require multiple networking environments to be there. So overall, maintaining one machine individually will cost me more when compared to virtualized environment. Not only this, let me say in this manner as well. Let's say that we are having something called SAN environment. Now, as of now, if you see, most of the environment will be working on storage because we don't want to depend on the local storage. What happens if my local storage fails? Then I will be facing issues. So in that scenario, what we will do is we will take our server and we will integrate our machines with SAN storage, where we will be having number of disks connected, and this particular disk will be on a RAID group for a better performance, and then we would be receiving a disk over there. So even if something happens to my machine or my operating system, the valuable data of our application would be saved on storage network. Now when we talk about storage, especially let's try to talk about fiber channel storages, SAN storages like PNC, Clarion, VMware, IBM, PS storage, or Hitachi or other storages, whatever might be available in the market, HP, power kind of thing. So in this scenario, the investment goes very high when I wanted to use it on multiple machines. Assume that I have individual machines that is working on my environment. So each machine, in order to receive that SAN LUN, I require a special fiber channel setup. I require that fiber channel ports to be there on each machine. So these ports will be available on a card, which we will call it as HBA card, host burst adapter, which is a special type of hardware which will not be included in your server unless you demand for it, and for which you have to pay an extra amount. Now, for one server, I would be receiving it from one fiber channel or one fiber cable. On the other, I would be receiving it with the help of other cable, and other I will receive it on the cable. So over here, to maintain this kind of environment, I require 4 machines, each one which is having the fiber ports on the top of it, HDD cards, and we are also investing our money for fiber channel cable. Believe me guys, this setup would be very expensive. The HDD cards in the Indian currency would cost you 5 to 10,000 rupees per card, and the fiber channel cable what we are using would cost you 5,000 rupees for approximately 10 meters or 5 meters. So overall the investment would be very high when it comes to individual machines. And on the other side, as discussed, the total resources what is there on my physical machine will not be fully utilized. So overall, to reduce or to bring down the cost of your data center and the infrastructure, you may be moving to the new technology, a new data center in the world that would be virtualized data center. One more thing guys, I haven't talked about that yet, but there is one more very important concept over here, is the power consumption. electricity consumption. If I maintain 4 machines, then all 4 machines will be consuming power, and to keep it, I require a place. So overall, the cost is getting very much high with increment of each machine in your data center in terms of place, in terms of power, in terms of resources, whatever the things that have been connected to my machine. And that too, at the end of the day, my resources are not fully utilized and I am running into the losses in terms of resources. So, to overcome all these things, we prefer to have a virtualized environment in today's world. Now, how virtualized environment would be beneficial in me? Let's try to talk about it. Initially, assume that I would go for a high-power server, which would be having full resources inside it. Maybe I would be having an internal storage of 10 terabyte. I would be having 8 GB of RAM, maybe. I would be having quad-core processor or 4-core processor, whatever it might be, of any vendor, maybe HP, Dell, or IBM, whichever you prefer. Now, in this particular scenario, putting one machine, one OS, one application would be waste of resource. What I do out over here is the same environment, I would split it into multiple machines. What I do is on the top of the resources, whatever I am having, I will divide this machine into multiple machines. Basically, the concept of the definitions of virtualization is also same, splitting the physical resources into logical resources. Now here what I do out over here is I may be going for multiple machines depending upon the resources available. Now if you can find out over here guys, each VM what I have created over here would be consuming the same resource which is available in my machine. I don't require extra NICs to be available for each VM. On the available NIC, maybe the 2 NICs what have been connected to your machine would be sufficient for all the VMs that are running in your machine. So how many cables do I need? I need 2 cables. And if I'm going for fiber channel, only one HPA, maybe with multiple ports, would be more than enough for me. And I would be having my storage, which will be giving that connectivity to my machine. And all the VMs will be getting fed by that particular HPA. So overall, whatever I'm trying to tell you over here is, in one machine, I can run multiple machines. Each machine would be hosting an individual application, individual operating system. It would be behaving as an independent machine. So what are they saving for me? Lots of things. Firstly, on the place, I'm having only one machine in place of 10 individual machines. I'm having only one set of resources in place of 10 set of resources. I'm having only one machine hosting multiple applications in the form of VMs for me. So overall, the intensity and the integrity of the data center would be low. Now over here, I don't require the extra effort or extra money to involve. With a very least amount of money, I can go for all these setups. In cost of one, I can have them. That's the better advantage of your virtualization. Now let's actually try to see something that what in your virtualization technique will help you to go or virtualize your environment. If you talk about virtualization, yes, the important thing in your virtualization would be something called hypervisor. Assume that guys, I have a machine and I would like to virtualize it. So if I want to virtualize it, my hardware, whatever hardware I might be having, maybe I'm having CPU, maybe I'm having memory, maybe I'm having anything, whatever it might be, that cannot be virtualized directly in VMs. So between my hardware and between my VMs, I may require one translator, the guy who will convert all the physical resources into virtual resources and give it to my VMs. And that particular thing, we call it as hypervisor. Now this hypervisor is an important element to act as an interface between your physical resources and the virtual resources. All the RAM, all the CPU, all example, the hard drive, whatever you are having, will be virtualized by this hypervisor, and it would be fed to all your VMs that is running on the top of it. Now, basically, these hypervisors are available in different formats. There are two types of hypervisor. One is type 1 and the other one is type 2. So what is this type 1 hypervisor? Type 1 hypervisor is bare metal hypervisor. So bare metal hypervisor is something which you will directly install on a physical machine. Maybe I'll take HP's hardware, maybe I'll take Dell's hardware, maybe I'll take IBM's hardware, or any supported hardware I will take it. On the top of hardware, I will install my virtualization operating system with kernel or a hypervisor inside it. Okay, so here what I'm trying to do is on the top of a physical machine, I'm installing my virtualization software and I'm trying to go for virtualization directly. So here I don't require any extra converter other than hypervisor. Apart from this, I may have one more type of hypervisor which is called as type 2 hypervisor, which is host-based hypervisor. Now this kind of hypervisors are much used by a small, what I can say, a very small setup for testing. Probably let me say you wanted to have multiple VMs in your desktops or in your laptops, and you would like to practice Linux or any different Windows operating system or something like that. So for that, you would be going for host-based hypervisor. In your host-based hypervisor, what we will do is we will take a machine which is already having an operating system installed. Maybe it is Windows or maybe Linux or any other operating system which is supported. On the top of that particular operating system, we will deploy our hypervisor. Probably guys, you might have seen this kind of hypervisor like VMware workstation. So it is just a small software which you will install and then you will go for virtualization. So here the dependency would be your operating system. If my operating system is powered on, then it will start the software and then software will go for virtualization. And here your VMs will be knowing that I am virtualized. They will be knowing that I am in a virtual environment. Whereas when you go for bare metal, the VMs will behave as an independent physical machine. They does not know whether they are virtualized or they are a physical machine. They only try to understand that I am running on a physical environment and I am not virtualized. So here we get more feasibility than the host-based hypervisor. Let's talk about more on this. If we go about host-based hypervisor, then we have 2-3 options to go for host-based. Like you can go for VMware workstation, which is again the software which you can simply install, and you can go for virtualization within your laptop or desktop, or you can go for Oracle VirtualBox. So there are many other applications might be available in the internet which you can use it to go for virtualization. But host-based hypervisor, as I've told you, would be having some limitations and boundaries where the VMs cannot do much. Whereas when it comes to bare metal hypervisor, it is a production hypervisor where I can deploy a number of VMs and I can work as an independent machine in the computer. So what are the bare metal hypervisors available? So initially let's talk about our VMware hypervisor, that is ESXi, the latest one. The version currently is 5.5 and the very latest which is recently released is 6.0. Then we have something like Citrix hypervisor. You have Red Hat Enterprise Virtualization Managers hypervisor. You have Oracle Virtual Managers hypervisor. And from IBM, especially for AIX environment, you have Power hypervisor. So basically there are many hypervisors available or the softwares available that contains this particular hypervisors. in the market. Especially the ESXi hypervisor comes inside one package or one suite, which we call as VMware vSphere Suite. So VMware vSphere Suite is a collection of various virtualization software which includes your hypervisor ESXi, the latest one. And like that, we have other competitors available in the market which is also going on. But the major competitor of VMware might be only 6x, because these are the two which is going on very high in the market. And VMware is ruling out the market with more share in the market, and the feasibility what it has is greater. Now, to support my words, let us talk about the same thing in the form of a slide what I have over here. So, let's try to talk about the introduction to virtualization. Now, as you can see out over here, this is my normal physical infrastructure. On this physical infrastructure, you can just check it out over here that I'm having multiple physical machines running over here. Assume this is my data center. In my data center, I have almost 8 machines running, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Each machine are required to go with operating system, and on the top of it, I would go for application. Now, what I tried to show you earlier is supported over here. To maintain it, if I want to go with my networking or fiber channel support, then each machine requires one Ethernet cable connected to the environment, and to receive the fiber channel support, I require the fiber channel adapters to be connected and fiber channel cables to be connected. So overall, I require 8 networking cables, 8 fiber channel cables, 8 Ethernet adapter, and 8 fiber channel adapter. So overall, the cost is very high in this scenario, and the maintenance will go very high. So in this scenario, overall the investment is very high. To avoid it, if I go for a virtualized environment, what is the advantage? Let's try to talk. So over here, you can see I'm having a physical machine. On the top of it, I'm installing my hypervisor, that is VMware hypervisor ESXi. And on the top of it, I can maintain many machines. Previously, what we have seen is we were having only one machine per host. So we were having per machine only one machine, one host. But when it comes to ESXi environment or virtualization environment, I can see that I am having one host with many VMs running on the top of it. To maintain 6 VMs, I don't require 6 vCards. I don't require 6 FC cards. With one NIC, I can manage my networking to all. With one FC, I can manage all my fiber channel things in one. So overall, over here, you can see that the consumption of the resources is better, and the utilization is better, and I'm consuming very less power, very less resources when compared to the previous environment which was running on the physical infrastructure. So this is how my VMware or any virtualization thing is trying to protect. Let's try to find out what is the difference between physical and virtual architecture. It's quite simple. Generally, what happens over here is I'm having an architecture where I'm having a disk, I'm having a NIC card, I'm having a RAM, I'm having a CPU. All that will be utilized by one operating system in one application asset. But whereas, on the contrary, when we talk about virtual architecture, now all these things, whatever we are seeing, is NIC, RAM or CPU, is utilized by VMware vSphere. On the top of it, we will be having multiple VMs running, so the same thing is better utilized in this scenario. Now what is the difference between physical machine and a virtual machine? See, initially, what is a physical machine? Physical machine is a set of hardware. So if I wanted to move my hardware from one data center to other data center, that means it involves lots of moving, lots of disconnections and lots of connections. So where the moving becomes very difficult. Whereas, what is a virtual machine? Virtual machine is just a combination of files. It is just a normal file which is available on the ESXi environment. So moving that file is quite simple for me. Whenever I want to move it, it's a very easy task because the entire virtual machine is encapsulated into files and which is independent of physical hardware. I can simply take my virtual machine in a pen drive and I can move it to the other data center to deploy it. So moving a VM becomes very easy for me. Bound to specific set of hardware components. That means my hardware can only be available on this area. I cannot use it. But here, when it comes to VM, they say it is isolated with other virtual machine and it is independent. I can move it from here and I can put it over there. One more thing, guys. The life cycle of a physical machine is very short. After 2 years or 3 years, the previous hardware becomes obsolete, outdated, and as a result of which you will try to upgrade your hardware to the next level. Wherein, when it comes to virtual machine, it is just a virtual machine. So if the new version is available, simply I upgrade my virtualized environment, and as a result of it, my virtual machine will keep on upgrading and it will be running for a long time. So probably over here, the requirement becomes very simple and the management becomes very simple when it comes to physical as well as virtual. Now resource sharing is also a very simple out over here. I have multiple hardwares connected to my VCL environment and I would be connecting my CPUs and my network easily and I will be using it. So similarly, I'm going to virtualize my resources, I'm going to virtualize my CPU. 4 CPUs will be split into multiple CPUs as a virtual environment. That we are going to learn in the coming classes where we will talk about selected multiprocessing concept in VMware, which will help you to convert one physical CPU into multiple logical CPU or virtual CPU so that each VM would get multiple CPUs over here. Similarly, my memory would be virtualized. Earlier, when it comes to physical architecture, 4 CPUs only working for one machine. Here, 4 CPUs working for many machines. In the same way, 1 RAM working only for one application, one OS. But the same RAM now is being utilized by multiple VMs for multiple purposes. Okay. Similarly, guys, when it comes to networking, 1 NIC card working only for one piece of box, whereas in virtual machine, multiple virtual machines can communicate via 1 NIC card. So again, the networking requirement will be low and very compatible and very cost-effective. Similarly, guys, on my physical environment, I have my native file system depending upon what operating system you are using. Here, if I am using operating system of Windows, then I can format my disk with NTFS, SAT. If it is Linux, then I can format it with PHP3, or I can go for other kind of file system depending upon the operating system we are using. But when it comes to virtualized environment, VMware uses its own type of file system called VMFS, Virtual Machine File System, which is compatible with any operating system which is having far more advantages than the native file system what is there on your personal operating system. So it does not goes on operating system and make any change. I will simply use this VMFS. I would convert this particular VMFS into small chunks, and each chunk I would give it to my virtual machine, where it would be behaving as a disk, which I can again format according to the operating system. Maybe I can format it with NTFS, maybe I can format it with ext3, ext4, or any, depending upon what operating system you are using. So, as I've told you guys, what is a virtual machine? It is simply an encapsulation of files. My total virtual machine is divided into a number of configuration files, which is maintained in one folder, and that folder will be maintained on the top of a data store, whatever you are using. Again, what is a data store? That we will try to learn when we talk about the storage concept in your virtualization. Overall, it's a container where all my virtual machine files will be maintained in the form of a folder. And as we have thought, guys, that virtual machine is a combination of many files, where I would be having my configuration files, where I would be having my swap files, I would be having my BIOS files, I would be having my log files, and finally my virtual disk files. So all these things will be maintained under a folder, and that would be called as a VM. So guys, moving this folder is not a difficult task for me. If I have to move my virtual machine from one place to another machine, I do not have to carry the entire server. I simply take that folder and I'll move it to other data center, and I'll deploy it over there. So migrating of VMs, this kind of thing is very, very simple, instead of migrating your physical machines or maybe physical. Okay. Also guys, in today's world, we have a concept of cloud computing. See, cloud computing is something where we call it as data center on demand or capacity on demand. Assume that, guys, I'm not having resources to maintain a data center at my place. So what I do is I hire this one from my cloud providers. So what cloud providers will do is they'll take a request from the client, like how many machines do you need, what is the configuration do you need, how much CPU do you need, how much memory do you need. So depending upon the total requirement of your client, immediately they are going to deploy VMs and they will give it to them so that they can manage it. Assume, guys, if the same cloud providers are using physical setup, but depending upon the requirement of the clients, the provider needs to purchase the hardware first, they need to purchase the RAMs, they need to purchase the CPU, and all in all, to assemble everything and give it to the client will take more than 2 days at least, or 3 days, or maybe a week, whatever it might be, depending upon the requirement. But as at the backend, if we are trying to use over here something called hypervisor or our virtualization tool, it would be very simple for me to deploy the VMs in a click. Like, most probably what happens is whatever cloud setup you might be using or whatever stack of software you might be using, maybe you are using OpenStack, maybe you are using a CloudStack, whatever it might be, there would be an application that would be sitting over there, and that application will take the information from the client, feed it to your virtualization environment, on the top of it where you would be able to create multiple VMs, and that VMs will be used by the client from anywhere in the world with the help of internet. So that is something, your cloud computing. So even VMware has its own cloud solution called VMware vCloud Director. So this VMware vCloud Director will allow you to make multiple types of clouds for your environment, like you can have a private cloud or only your virtualization and your internal organizational need, or you can have a public cloud where the VMs what you have designed for your clients would be built in. Now sometimes what happens over here is, guys, I require a few of the VMs from my private cloud, I want it to be moved to public cloud, or I want few of the VMs from public cloud to move to my private cloud. The private cloud will not be accessible by general public, it is only for the internal staff. Public cloud is place where I would be having the entire setup running for my clients and whoever is using it. Now, over here, what happens is, between public cloud and private cloud, whatever VMs you would like to move will be moved out with the help of another cloud guys called hybrid cloud. I'm missing that slide over here, but there will be a cloud called hybrid cloud with the help of which few of the VMs that is running on public cloud can be migrated to private, and few of the private cloud can be migrated to public. Like that, what happens over here is you would be able to play between private cloud, public cloud with a panel of hybrid cloud. So all these solutions is also provided to you by VMware. So this is, a small intro, I would say, that what I wanted to tell you. But if I start talking about this virtualization environment and VMware features, it would be a very, very long dose and a very long session. So all in all, this virtualization configuration is quite a very, very interesting part where we are trying to learn lots of things over here and lots of important, what I can say, and interesting components are there inside your virtualization like vMotion, storage vMotion, where you'll see that the VMs are flying from one host to another host, or you'll see DRS, the automation of virtual machines moving whenever there is a load high. So VMware people have tried to give us the best possible solution in virtualization in any other virtualization vendor, which we can understand while we are learning this particular concept. There is many much more things out there in which we have to talk about that. Now, one more thing I'd like to tell you, that talking about kerneltraining.com, that why you should learn from kerneltraining.com. The reason is, guys, after pattern, what servers or data center we are using is a very, very explosive data center and a very, very cutting edge data center where we are having the latest techniques, latest technologies, and all the available requirements in our data center, where we are going to show you the entire setup of VMware on the top of IBM hardware, which is a very costly hardware what we are maintaining over there, and on the top of it we are having all type of storages to show you. We are having SAN storages, we are having NAS storages, we are having NFS storages, which a compatibility of many things where you can get in your working environment. You may be dependent on SAN storages like IBM storages or very famous EMC storages like we have EMC Clarion, we have EMC VNX, we have EMC Symmetric. So we have many models of storages that is available, and we have the entire physical setup with the great configuration to work with any kind of topics that we are trying to discuss in VMware. From that, we have different kind of setup available. We have IBM virtualization, we have this VMware virtualization, Citrix is also there. So all in all, the data center what we are having over here is equipped with all the latest in the cutting edge technology, where a pupil or a student can actually check it out, how the real time work goes on, and you can map it if you are working from your virtual environment, if you are working places, that how it works on, and what are the things that is there and what are the things that are not there in your environment. So all in all, guys, we are having a very highly equipped data center that we're running 24/7, where we have our clients also approaching it for POC kind of thing, and we would be having a separate setup for our training division, totally dedicated for training environment. So that's it from my point of view, and this is what I was trying to convey you about the VMware and about kerneltraining.com. The rest of the thing about our learning module and the programs what we are trying to use inside it, and how you can connect, what you can do about the classes and all everything. Chandra will help you with that particular thing. Chandra, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm available. Thanks, Mr. Musaf. Thanks, Mr. Musaf. Are you able to hear me?
I will mute myself and you can take on the show from me.
Definitely, yes. Thanks, guys. Thanks for attending the class. I just wanted to speak about my current training right now. So I just wanted to share my screen. Just hold for a minute. Okay. So I hope you can able to see my screen. Definitely, guys. Alright. So first of all, I just wanted to introduce about my kernel training. Kernel training is a long way journey where we are there from past 5 years in the market, and we've just started this online training, and we wanted to give the best benefit to all students. We've trained more than 10,000 professionals in this space. We mostly concentrate on different trainings. So we are into Linux administration for past 5 years. We are into all the technologies like VMware. We are also into backend, like apps, and storage and everything. So let me put some light onto my kernel training website. This is a website where we have designed for you people who get to know about more about kernel training. You can just type kerneltraining.com where you'll be landing to my page. So in this page, you'll be able to see what are the different courses we are able to give you. First course, the different courses we have inbuilt in our kernel training right now is on the screen. Like you can also go for Cassandra, Linux virtualization, and NetApp, Racket DBA, Track. We are also mostly concentrating on the Hadoop infrastructure, like Hadoop administration, Hadoop development, and Hadoop admin and development. Also into Android, Grand Java, Linux cluster. All the core components for the training into administration and the development we are going through. This is all about the trainings what we have wanted to show. And you may be having a query. Fine, sir, can I know the syllabus copy of it, VMware, what faculty will be dealing with? So you can just click on to the VMware icon where it will be reaching to the portal page of VMware. And in this page, you will be also getting what is the course curriculum. So for every course structure, the same curriculum would be given respectively. So in this we will be dealing about what is virtualization, module 2, module 3, course on. So complete course structure is given in the website where you can have a view on it. You can also talk about those things where people can tell about what is all about the course. Okay. The benefit here is in online training, all the sessions will be pre-recorded to us, and these sessions we can give back to you when people get enrollment. So how does this happen? So this will happen through one of the module called LMS, Learning Management System. So people who get registered, when they come down to us, they will be enrolling themselves. After getting enrollment, they will be reaching to the payment gateway. In this payment gateway, they can pay the amount of VMware administration through their credit card or debit card or any other banking, internet banking. And if they enroll ourselves, they will be getting the user ID and password where they can come down to the LMS. So in this LMS, the benefit they have is all the recorded sessions will be kept down there. Second point is all the PPTs used by the faculty is also being listed down there. Third point is we are also putting some material which will be helpful for their interview purpose. Apart from that, from blogging activities, extra information, material, what faculty would be sharing you, all the information will be kept in this LMS. This LMS will be given for you for a lifetime. Nothing but once you enroll for this course, the videos of the particular training and the material of the particular training will be there for you in lifetime. So if you are having a doubt after a couple of days, maybe after a year, you wanted to revise the class one more time, you need to come back. You need to just come back to LMS. You can view the recording, whatever you have attended the classes. From the recording, you can hear it and you can just get back what the things are. So let me show you like how this LMS works out. So how this LMS works out. So people who get registered with us, they will be getting their login ID and password. So I have a person who got registered with us. He'll be having his user ID and he'll be having his password with us. When he gets enrolled into the user ID and password, then they will be reaching to the page where the LMS would be continued. So this is the place. This is a place where people can able to view the recordings. So I hope people have enrolled for VMware and they'll be getting the icon as continue. So in this continue course, when they click upon, so here they can see all the recorded sessions which is kept out here. This is one of the recorded session of class 1. Okay, so they can view this class 1 recorded session and then also download the presentation which is used in the particular PPT. Apart from that, class number 2, class number 3, Class number 4. Likewise, all the classes which the faculty will be taking up will be having the recorded session here and will be done here. So we can even play this recorded session. We can have the classes what things are going on. So this is not only the things what we wanted to tell. Apart from that, I would just wanted to also introduce, like, yes, if it is the training, if you have taken training like for example Perl scripting or Java or .NET, you may have your own system to get practice on it. But this VMware is one of the things where you need to work on the servers. So you may have a query like, sir, how I can able to practice this session on the server. But as the faculty has also gave you a clear idea, like we have a special data center where we can give the data center to the participant to get practice on the real-time issues. Which nothing but we would be giving you the access of our data center for next 30 days after registration, where you can come down to my data center through VPN access and you can practice on the real-time servers. In coming days, we will also put you a video on the data center, like how data center is created, what is server, and how the size of the server would be there, whatever servers we have, all these things. Anyway, I just wanted to describe you. We have a server in my lab where I just wanted to show you what are the servers we have. It's also clearly given in the website. Let me go to the page of the training again and let me talk about one of the examples on the next register, for example. When they come down in the bottom, so after the module is being completed, having a lab infrastructure. Lab infrastructure will be described in the space. You can go for another course of Java. So here it is mentioned our lab infrastructure is detailedly given here, like we have power 5, power 6, and servers. Along with that, we also have six servers where we can do practice on this particular machine. It's nothing but you would get the training, you would get the recordings, you would get the material, you will get the practice on one place where you don't need to go from one place to another place. You don't need to spend your time in traveling or something like that. You can utilize your fresh time to get training on the things. So I hope this would help you out to get enrolled into the classes of these things. So guys, if you have any queries, you can just come back to me. You can raise your hand so that we can help you better. Musa sir, my training is completed. Anything you wanted to share to the candidates? Okay guys, so see you for the classes. Take care and bye bye.